It might not have been the first platformer with user creation at its core, but Super Mario Maker was a masterstroke of game design on the Nintendo Wii U, going beyond anything that I'd ever expected to see Nintendo do with their platforming ex-plumber and giving so much creative and playful freedom to their fans. Now he's donned his builder's hat once more to head onto Nintendo Switch for a sequel, and we've got 5 major ways that Super Mario Maker 2 is a step up on the original, and one way that it kind of sucks a little bit. Number 1. A castle building single player. The single player modes from Super Mario Maker and its 3DS sequel are less about the classic Super Mario side-scrolling and more about Nintendo getting to play with the weird and wonderful tools that they've created and are sharing with the world. For Super Mario Maker 2, it's a bit less abstract than it was before and is now based around Mario and a team of builder toads rebuilding Princess Peach's castle. But apparently the Mushroom Kingdom is still feeling the effects of the 2008 financial crash because Mario is having to take on odd jobs and contracts to go and beat platforming levels and earn enough coin to build the castle from the foundations up. There's some nice and lightly bonkers stuff here, showcasing some of what the game can do, even in just the first few levels that we got to try, and I'm sure that it's going to help spark a few imaginations of what you can then go and create. Number 2, a whole new Super Mario 3D world. What is easily the most eye-catching new addition, partially because it's, well, a visual thing, is the addition of the Super Mario 3D world theme. And yes, I know this is a 2D side-scrolling platformer. So no, it doesn't really make too much sense when you put it like that, but it does add some depth to the scene, the likes of which we haven't actually had in a 2D Mario game before. Even New Super Mario Bros., when you get to it, is a very flat looking game, despite the fact that everything's being rendered in 3D. The 3D world theme adds a lot of new toys, from the Cat Mario costume with its dive attack and ability to clamber up walls to the transparent pipes, spike blocks, on-off switches, extension blocks, and so much more. The one caveat though is that where you could switch between the other generations of Mario and they had designed the game with plenty of crossover additions, 3D World is a standalone theme. If you switch to or from it, all of the stuff that you've got set down in this level is going to be wiped, so make sure that you know what you're doing before you hit that button. Number 3, a revised build mode UI. A lot of the level creation tools look the same in Super Mario Maker 2, but they've been fiddled and tweaked with a fair bit. I feel that it's somewhere between the Wii U version's widescreen spaciousness and the look and layout of the 3DS version of the game. It's a shade more modern feeling with the look of the level elements along the top, the Redo Dog and Rocket are better laid out in the bottom right hand corner, and the left hand side has got much clearer options for picking the theme and level goals. But the biggest change comes when you dig into the item selection and the radial menus that pop up there. You don't get to see quite as much all at once, but it's much quicker for getting around and picking the items that you want, and this will be great for those that are playing with the game docked, helping to speed up some of the navigation and getting a bit closer to the speed and ease of creating that you will be able to manage to do in handheld mode with the touchscreen. Of course, it might still feel a little bit more intuitive when handheld, but this is still a good step forward. Number 4 is multiplayer madness. If you've played New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe and loved its mad 4-player multiplayer, well, Super Mario Maker 2 will give you more of these madcap shenanigans with local multiplayer for up to 4 players, and when you didn't have any multiplayer in the first game, that is a big deal. You can play co-op, respawning each other from bubbles when you die, and this is actually a pretty useful thing if you're getting stuck on a level, because it means that you can sort of fudge your way past some of the trickier things out there. At the same time, you've got the handicap of constantly jumping and bumping into each other, and so you're probably killing each other a bit more often than you're helping. Alongside that, you also have a 2-player create mode, which, is going to be nice to explore what you can do and create something with a friend if you really want to. But all of this leads to number 5, online multiplayer madness. You can take Super Mario multiplayer online for the very first time or connect 4 consoles together in ad hoc multiplayer, and this opens the door to competitive Mario, where the first player to reach the end wins. I had a ton of fun playing this mode at the preview event, with some of the levels a real challenge, especially when everybody's trying to get in your way and you've got the usual bumping and bouncing off each other that you have from general multiplayer. Depending on the level and if there's enough blocks and obstacles ahead of you, it's really quite fun to be able to not necessarily have a great start, but still manage to race through the level and catch up to the point where you can even sneak a couple of wins at the last second. But as I said at the top of this video, there is one way in which Super Mario Maker 2 absolutely, definitely 100% sucks. And that is number 6, you need to have Switch Online. Unfortunately, you really do need to have a Switch Online subscription to get the best out of this game. It's not just required for the online multiplayer, but also for sharing your levels and downloading others from the Course World library of creations. Honestly, it sucks, and I really wish that sharing levels itself was kept outside of the subscription, as you see with the relationship between Little Big Planet 3 and PlayStation Plus. I can accept Switch Online and other online multiplayer subscriptions. They are just about okay these days, but for me they have to be contributing something to active head-to-head multiplayer between people. Sharing levels and creation is not part of that for me, and it's a real shame to see Nintendo pushing their subscription to this degree. While I've ended on a bit of a downer, there is an awful lot to like about Super Mario Maker 2. Head over to thesynthnaxis.com for more on the game and our broader hands-on preview from this event, because this is definitely one for Switch fans to keep an eye on when it releases on the 28th of June. But that is all for this video, and hopefully you've enjoyed it enough to give us a like, a subscribe, and join us for future videos. So until then, goodbye!